It's a video going around, and they're saying that this single black mother is so overwhelmed. I don't really like the term crashing out. I think that she's just kind of venting and coming to the realization that life as a single mother in the black community, nobody's coming. Nobody's coming. I feel like I was pretty fortunate and I had a good support system. And I feel like also, like with all the women who were online, like a few years ago, I don't know how prevalent this content is where single mothers are really like, this is hard. But I know I see videos where people are like, oh, I hate being a single mother and I hate my children and I hate that I had a baby. And I think that rhetoric is very good for people who don't have children and for people who are not single mothers so that they don't get pregnant or that they don't procreate. I think it's good for them, but as a mother and a single mother myself, I don't think it's good to continue to watch these videos that is complaining about single motherhood because it will trap your mind into a place where you start to hate your life, you start to resent your kids, you can actually crash and burn and have a real mental health breakdown or a real mental health crisis. I'm not saying that these things are not true. I'm not saying that these things are, that people shouldn't talk about their problems. I'm so not saying that. I'm just saying if you're a single mother and you're delving into all this content and this trauma bond that is really dangerous because if you have to wake up and take your kids to school and then take your kids to the doctor and do all this stuff, eventually your mental health is going to break down because you're feeding the narrative that you're burnt out. You're feeding the narrative. If you're not going to do anything about it, like go see a counselor, like send your children with their fathers. I remember one summer, uh, I was talking to you all on here. I was active on here, and I sent my two sons with my mom. And she was like, I'm not doing the whole summer. And I was like, okay. And I took them anyway. I did. Was that right or wrong? I knew my mental health was crashing and burning. Even now, how I'm in a whole new location. You know, I knew that my mind could not take everything that I was dealing with. I knew I had to find a place with a cheaper cost of living. I knew I had to find safe places for my children to go. I knew that being overwhelmed, a single mother, a victim of the black community, which I don't know how many people are talking about these things now. I knew it was a time online where the gender war turned into basically uh, exposing the black community and its traumas on black women and black children. So my channel was based on that a lot. Like a lot of my videos, like if you go in my past videos, a lot of my videos is covering Blackistan and its torments and its tragedies in the black community that black women are dealing with, but really are not being honest about. I think that now people are being more honest about the black woman struggle, and but I don't know if it's real care or if it's just for clicks or. But I feel like if you are a single mother, you have to make time to see a therapist to unpack some of this stuff. A real therapist, not IG therapy, not the Dr. Cheyenne Bryans of the world, not your friends. Friends are fine and they're good, and family is fine and good, but really, they can't help you like a real certified therapist to help you get over whatever you're going through. And it was a time where a lot of people was like, "Oh, send the kids with their dad. Send the kids with their dad." I sent my son with his dad, and right now he won't let me see him. Nobody really talks about the other side that can happen. So I'm heartbroken from that, and I don't have money to buy a lawyer to fight a custody battle. Yeah, I have custody, but it's not established in the court of law. So I would have to pay a lawyer thousands of dollars to even get this thing started to see my son. I can talk to him. I pay his cell phone bill. That's the only way I can talk to him. I had to pay the bill. I had to buy the phone. And I took it to his school to give it to him. But it's just like as a single mother, if you are feeling depleted and you don't have no resources, you have to reach out. You have to reach out because you're gonna crash and burn. And when you crash and burn, everything can fall apart. I.e., my whole life fell apart. My whole life fell apart. And if you don't make a plan to try to counter it, or to try to get yourself in a safe place and your kids in a safe place. My daughter's in college. My son, like I've told you all before, I'm not ashamed. My son lives with my brother because I felt like he needed a father influence, and I knew that I was crashing and burning. I knew that I was spiraling. And last year and this year, some of the hardest years of my life, but I knew that I wasn't able and capable to be the mother that I once was, or to be the best mother that I could be. And I'm not saying, oh, go send your kids away or throw your kids away, but that's what worked for me. And my other son is with his dad. That's what worked for me. And despite, yeah, I would love to get a 3-bedroom and have places for my kids to come, I don't have the money. I don't have the brain capacity. I'm not strong like I used to be. The only best thing is that my kids were already older. And they understand. And are our relationships perfect right now? No. But with time, I know they'll understand that I have to get myself together. And on that mission from Nashville, then I stopped in St. Louis, which didn't help at all. I actually wish I would have came straight here. But either way, so now I'm in a different location with a cheaper cost of living. You know, I'm messed around, got a charge, because I was homeless out here. As y'all know, who are like my real neighbors, who listen to my lives. Of course, I take them in because it's like a video diary. But I went from homelessness here to living in a storage unit to hotel to hotel. I've never lived like that before. Never. I always had a place and a home for me and my children. And now I'm forced to figure out how to live life when I'm not a mother, when I'm not a daughter, when I'm not a sister. And it's like, oh, you'll always be those things. I don't have those relationships to rely on or to bend on, to hold me up or to make me strong. Because now I realize I was only strong for my children. I was never strong. I had a will and a drive to be strong for my children. I had a will and a drive to be strong for my family. And I really had to find a will to live by myself, for myself, with myself, and learn to be happy with myself, all by myself. And I'm still working through that. And it's very hard. It's very hard. Because everything that has brought me to this point, I can blame this, I can blame that. But at the end of the day, I walked the path and I made this path. And I have to stand up in this path. And I feel so bad for this lady because when one thing go wrong, all things can go wrong. And if you don't have a plan to counteract that, that's why I'm really glad I had a plan. And I knew that I was not able to keep being the mother I once was. I knew that I was not able to keep paying bills for a 3-bedroom and a 2.5 bath. I knew that I couldn't pay car insurance and all these car notes, and I knew that I didn't have it. And I knew my mental health was breaking down. And even now, I'm on the other side and I'm thankful. I'm not perfect, I'm not totally healed or anything, but I'm on the other side where I know that I still got a future. And I still got something to live for because I'm finding love in myself that I don't need people to make me love myself. I can love myself all by myself. And I don't have to prove to people what they think I should be doing with my life. Or judging people judging my life. I know what happened. I know why I'm here. And I know I'm getting better. It does not look how I thought it would. But I knew that it couldn't stay the same. And I think sometimes as black women, you know, We're so afraid of change, but people are afraid of change. But you have to know that it'll get better, and that lady is really gonna have to make some hard decisions right now, today, whatever. And I hope people reach out for her. But who knows if she have a babysitter? Who knows if she pay for daycare, or do she have the hours, or what does her work schedule look like? But it's very important to take time off if you need it. It's very important to talk to somebody. It's very important if you know you are not being able to sustain what's going on with your life. It's very important not to keep feeding it online, because it will send you into a spiral that's worse than the one you can be in all by yourself. The online content is like, okay, it's happening to somebody else too. That's fine. I see you. You see me. But to dwell and sulk and to be in this toxic content that is reminding you how you're not good enough. And she also talked about trying to get in relationships or create a two-parent household for her children, and meeting manipulators and bad men and bad guys. And it's not the choose better narrative, because a lot of men are manipulative. Just period. And a two-parent household is just a dream. It's just a dream. Do some people have it? Of course, but as a single mother, I didn't want people around my kids anyway. When I kind of thought maybe I want the two-parent household, the more my kids grew, the more I was working and schooling. I didn't want nobody in my house with my kids. I didn't trust people around my kids. But that's what I learned, kind of, once they got like 2 and 3. I'm like, I don't even think I want nobody disrupting what we got going here. I like it here. I like what we got going, me and my children. I don't want nobody to tell me what to do or telling my kids what to do, or we gotta figure that out. Like, I don't want to accept nobody else's family. But I kind of learned that early on when my kids were young. But I think this falsehood and these fantasies of these couple goals and these relationship goals, and this falsehood that there's a nuclear black family. Is there one somewhere? Yes, it's everything exists somewhere, but the norm is not that. And I do wish that we were warned, like channels like mine and other people channels who tried to warn women, like, hey, single motherhood, this is not what you want. This is not what you think it is. And I think that a lot of that content did change a lot of women's lives, because you can look in comment sections and you see it. You know what I'm saying? Of course, people want to love. Of course, people want a fairy tale. Of course, people do. But it's a point where, as a mother, a single mother, you have to come to terms and grips with yourself. Like, help not coming. Ain't no rescue coming. You have to be your own rescue, and that's what Lisa Nichols say. Like, even me, yeah, I did all that stuff. What? So from July to December, I got a place in December. But still, now I'm jobless. Now I got some on my record. So what does that look like from here? Because I was spiraling, and I took preventative measures, but I still couldn't regulate my emotions or my temper, or I could not stop the inevitable, because I was not okay. So it's important as a single mother, if you don't get a plan of action, whatever that looks like. And like I say, the Senate with his dad narrative is rough. It's rough because nobody know how his dad live. Even my son dad, he lives with his grandmother. He lives with his mom, his dad's mom. I'm sure he see his dad like often because he taking to school, or the girlfriend taking to school. But you have to trust that you're doing the right thing, because the worst thing you could do as a parent is get evicted with your children and they're traumatized from that. The worst thing you could do is take your kids to a shelter with you. Now, some people do it. I was in a shelter with women who took their kids to the shelter. I don't wish that on nobody. I don't. I didn't take mine. I don't even know. I don't think I could have survived with my kids in a shelter with me. I don't even think my mind would have been able to process that my kids would have to live like that. Because I've never had to do anything like that. We was always okay. We was always good. We always had a safe home. But I just feel like it's help out there. You got to go to churches to help you with your rent. If you got to go to programs to help you with your electric bill or your rent, or like, it's nothing wrong with going to programs to get help on your rent and your bills and stuff. I've been there. I've been there. When my kids was young, I stayed there. Okay. When my kids were young and I didn't have a steady career and going to school, and I went and got help. It's help out there. But are you gonna find in the black community? Are you gonna find in your black family? Are you gonna find in love and in relationships? I wouldn't hold my breath. I just wouldn't hold my breath. But there's nothing wrong with going to food banks with the way the economy is and the way food is. I remember in Nashville and we buying the same food over and over and over again because I didn't get stamps and I didn't have the money, you know, buying the same stuff to make this stretch, or maybe every other week we can kind of get something a little special. That's depressing. But to keep feeding into these online communities, just keeping you sad and letting you know you can't make it and letting you don't think you can't make it and you ain't worthy and you can't feed the content. You cannot watch it. You cannot watch the content. And that's like number one. Yeah, you want somebody to identify with you, but when you feed these wormholes and you go down these deep corners of the internet of trauma, you gotta know something coming up in there, something coming up out of that, as I found out the hard way. But when I went, I knew what I was looking for. Doing the content about black women trauma to heal black women trauma was really, I was trying to heal myself. I had to know for myself why my life was doing what it was doing. I had to know why my friendships was doing what I was doing, why my relationships was doing what it was doing. And I found out. I fucked around and found out. Because I wanted to know. And I did the work. I'm still doing the work. But I'm only living to one day try to fix my relationship with my children. I hope that they understand that I just wasn't able. And I don't feel bad. Because they still have another parent. They still have another parent who was never there. So, I know I did damn good. And like I say, my kid's grown. 17 not grown for my other son. Of course, my 12-year-old, he's not grown, but he's with his father. But I really hope this girl gets some type of help or some type of rude awakening that, girl, it's time to make a change. It's time to get some help. Because the worst thing you could do is traumatize your children. Yeah, my kids might be mad at me, but ain't no homelessness trauma, ain't no beating, they saw somebody beating me trauma, ain't no, oh, we was place to place or hotel to hotel trauma, or didn't have a study school environment trauma. None of that. None of that. None of that. So, I just feel like, as a single mother, you're going to make hard decisions. But don't let what other people think dictate how you move or how you live, because even my brother's like, you don't even have your kids. Whatever I do or don't have, my kids are grown. They big. Like, what you mean? Yeah, my later son, you know how they go, but a son with his dad, he's just a single father. But really the son is with the grandmother. So, people live with grandmas all the time. What are you saying? I'm not gonna feel like a bad person because I know I'm not able, I'm not capable, and I'm not even safe for myself right now. I don't even have a roof over my own head. Why would I drag my kids into something like that? And then I'm mad because my stuff not going right. So then I'm taking it out on my children. No, no, not me. So I wanted to do this video. It kind of feel like a video we would have done in the past, and I'm trying to do more lighthearted content. But when I seen that lady in that car, I feel like as a single mother, I'm a voice to it, and I just feel like it's okay to vent on the internet. I get it. I do it. But I made it into content that healed other black women too. It wasn't just, we're going to soak in this trauma. It's how we heal it and where did it come from and how do we fix it. but just that trauma bonding about your children, and then you're gonna resent your children. You're gonna resent your children instead of blaming the man who not there, who is really the main culprit in this story. Cause more than likely, crying like this ain't no child support. More than likely, but women don't want to go get child support. Another thing, black women don't want to go get child support. I went. They just didn't have the money. I went. My daughter dad was $65 a week when she turned 7. Yeah, yeah. But not go get child support, not reaching out. If you need a babysitter, you got to go where you got to go, and not to anybody. But if it's a safe environment, even like if it's his mom, if she don't have 50 people living with her, you can take your kids over there for a little while so you can get a little break for a few hours. But all that being stubborn, and I don't want them to see my kids, and I don't want them to, as long as it's safe, it's not a dope house, it's not a drug house, ain't 50 people not running inside, you need to go use your resources and take your kids so you can get a break. Or another thing, which I'm not saying is going on with this lady, but another thing is sometimes people have these kids that's not trained, and you don't like being around your kids because you raised them to be little terrorizers. So that's another thing. We've talked about that many times on our show. You got little terrorizers, nobody want to babysit, and you don't even want to be around your own kids. And I'm not saying that's the case with this lady. I'm just saying some of y'all kids just need a little home training, and maybe you can deal with them and be around them all day. Even when I did my show, many times, many of my neighbors, I never hear your kids because they got their own TV, they got their own games, they cook their food, they eat their snacks. They trained. They no point in why would they be jumping around tearing up the house? They wasn't raised like that. And even now with me able to send my kids is because my kids was always mannerable and good kids. But that's a whole other topic that's not gonna happen another day. But this did touch my heart, and I want to do this. So just stay beautiful, wonderful you. I hope you enjoy your Saturday. I mean your Sunday. I hope you had a good weekend, and I hope you'll come back and see me again on a lighter note. Hopefully, we'll be talking about something way better and funner, or at least something that don't got to do with no sad stuff. But I had to do this, so I'll talk to you. Bye.